front. He won in Silverstone. He won in Austria, picking up his third win and further cementing his championship lead. Peter Giordano in the Aston Martin, your race winner here in Russia. Your race winner for the Singapore Grand Prix, Jack Pemberton, comes across the line. Your championship winner, back-to-back, is going to be Peter Giordano in the other Aston Martin. It's an Aston Martin 1-2.
Lee Hall, P19 to P5. My driver of the day, Travis Robinson, and Jack Fletcher, the Red Bulls, P6, P7. Travis Robinson is your driver's champion. Victor Diaz in P9.
They can change tires, and Hudson Poole, the young man from Southern California, brings it across for a Red Bull win once again. So it is Hudson Poole.
Get going, so I don't think the math is necessary there. Red Bull came in with a 1-point lead. They get a P1 and a P4 to seal the deal in constructors. Hudson Poole with the win. He seals the deal in the World Drivers' Championships as well.
P5 is on Hudson Poole. Cody Lawrence is on the chicane. Hudson Poole is going to do the overtake. Last minute overtake heroics on Magnussen Cube. Is he going to do it also on Maxime Bowler for P4? He's going to make it happen. Cody Lawrence is your race winner in Canadian Grand Prix. Hudson Poole, he's got the last two positions out of Maxime Bowler and Magnussen Cube. He's got P. This moment, it's going to be Cody Lawrence coming home in P2 in an exciting race. And that is the Vision 1 World Championship for Cody Lawrence in the Mercedes. Chicane. This is going to be a photo finish for this race, ladies and gents. Look at this. John Swindell's got the outside coming out of the Ville chicane into the final corner. Who's going to be coming out on top? It's going to be Hudson Poole. And Newton. Is that going to be P2? It looks like it is. And DRS zones to improve, the usual double DRS zone to encourage the overtaking here tonight. I'm John Ranger, your usual commentator for this stream, and yeah, let's get down to it. Already got quite some action. Well, we're preparing ourselves for quite some actions, and let me just, there you go. Good. All drivers are on their at-laps as we speak. It looks like, weather-wise, well, it's to be expected in Abu Dhabi. Looks very, very dry. It's gonna be pretty decent. As we're going to be on board, well, let's keep an eye on Trivedi there. He's got on his banker lap, 15 minutes to go in a short qualifying session. Several drivers are out there. Let me walk you through the standings as we speak real quick. Disastrous weekend last weekend in Texas for Marcel Paps, 2 weekends in a row. And I think we might be missing 2 drivers here. So no Raymond. And no Marcel Paps. He doesn't seem to be around, so let's see if he shows up. So Marcel Paps going, not starting his weekend on the right foot again. And so we have, as you can see in the last 2 races, it's only combined to 15 points. It brings him down to the 4th step of the Drivers' Championship. Quinton K leading that championship by only 3 points. Ryan Newton in P2. And Cam Bourne, who didn't have the greatest qualifying session, but had a great race. And finds himself 12 points behind for the lead. There's a tie for 5th with Maxime Beaulieu and Freddie Rizal. Freddie coming in 3rd in Coda. And Jordan Kwan as well, not too far behind. Maxime Beaulieu and Jordan Kwan, Aston Martin teammates again. As mentioned last week, they're performing very well for their team this season. I'm sure Hokage Roldi is very glad. Obviously, things are changing quickly already. Nicholas Arrow, who was removed from the McLaren team, well, he will be back. However, he will be replacing the legendary ZRL racer Nathan Delilslille, because Nathan last week, after being incapable of putting a full qualifying run, decided 15 seconds of track penalties within 4 laps in Coda was the way to go, and decided to blame all the drivers and quit the league. So we're going to have a moment of silence here for Nathan Delilslille. Yeah, that's all he gets. New driver as well, and I have to make sure I see him properly. Yeah, in the Williams, Ryan Minico, replacing here Chad Swindell as well in the standings. So Swindell decided to remove himself from the championship for personal reasons, as he does just about every season. Team Constructors Championship, Red Bull leading the standings. Big thanks to Quinn K. Absolutely strong season from him so far. Quinn K, who's had that reputation where he maybe drop off a little bit halfway through his season, but so far he's only getting better and better. So the rivalry between him and Ryan Newton is quite strong. Mercedes in P2, followed quite closely by Ferrari in P3. I don't see any signs of Marcel Paps joining the lobby yet. So we'll keep tabs on that. Alpine not too far behind, 2 points only ahead of Aston Martin. Williams also in the mixed. And the other teams, Alfa Tauri, Alfa Romeo, Haas, and McLaren, well, yeah, that's how it's going for them so far. However, you know, Haas is getting there. She got a fair share of points now, having Jan Breton back in who's joined the league 2 races ago in Australia, has got 19 points in 2 races, so that is helping Haas remove themselves a little bit from the back markers. Still a lot of work to do for them. So as we speak, going back into the pits, it's Quentin K. Mr. Cott at 121.7, so already we're quite a ways past pole in Division 2 last night. Pole was 121.9 actually. Yeah, that was 121.9 by myself. And here on a banker lab, got several drivers beating Division 2 pole. Cott obviously is a bit quicker, and Ryan Newton is I think he's on 122 officially, but he's just really close and getting past that, as you can see from the other drivers as well. Let me just see if I could pull up one thing real quick. I know that does that for now. So, all right. And so there we have it. Nathan Doan, by the way, look at that. P4. Jan Breton as well in P5. Those are solid laps for these gentlemen. Drivers who've not made a lap yet, let me go check. Well, Minico's there in P15 so far. One of our newer drivers, Nicholas Arrow. Oh, by the way, Nicholas Arrow. I didn't mention that earlier. Nick Arrow, obviously, well, he's got a penalty. Penalty for a track incident. I'm going to call it that. Let's call it a track incident. The people in paddock knows what that specific track incident was in regards to Nicholas Arrow. The reason why he was removed from the McLaren by the team principal, Daniel Kern. And so we'll see what Nick Arrow is able to do. Ahmed Abdullahi, team principal, will currently coming out of the pits here in the Alfa Romeo. He had a talk with Nicholas Arrow. They're going to serve, Arrow's going to serve a qualifying ban for this race due to that incident 2 weeks ago. And, you know, he's back on the grid. He wants to prove himself. He wants to get out there and get some points. He's a driver we've seen several times have some good pace on this grid. You know, he also had, if I remember correctly, he had a pole lap in Jeddah as well. So, you know, maybe the shade of red is going to fit Nicholas Arrow a little bit better than that shade of papaya orange. And that is why he will be keeping tabs on that. Let's go find ourselves somebody on their fast lap. Simon Carlson looks like put in a really decent lap there. We'll see where that brings him towards the end of the session. 8 minutes and 52 go. There's Track Evolution definitely helping out and dropping down some times. Looks like Simon was one of the latest drivers to take advantage of that. Obviously, on the grid, you're only seeing well, you're seeing 20 cars. There's Leclerc and Piastri, but obviously those are the places we're waiting for Raymond and Marcel Pabst, who have not shown as of yet. Levin's on an outlap currently. Well, you know, let's go keep an eye on. He's just starting his lap. He's haven't gone on board with Ahmed Abdullahi here, so let me pull this up. This timer lap. There you go. And we're gonna have to adjust that slightly a little bit, and here we go. I'll pull a few adjustments on that in a bit, but down the second DRS straight, he is going to go fifth gear all the way around, doesn't drop into fourth. Looks clean. Green sector is definitely improving on his time. Meanwhile, Ryan Domenico in the Williams P3 at a 1:21.9. Looks like that was a good lap, and there's a Ferrari going across, starting his lap. I believe that was Doan. No, Doan is currently in P6, and yeah, let's check out with him. Yeah, he just did a 1:22.0, and after that, he did a little bit quicker by 4 1,000ths actually. Monster lap there by Abdullahi. Really good on his part for sure. Let's find ourselves some other drivers. Most drivers are on their fast laps currently. And Ryan Newton, there you go. Well, he just went across the line at a 1:21.4. Is Quinton K currently on a fastest lap? It definitely looks like it. Let's keep tabs on his timing here. Through sector 3, you want to be very careful on the throttle. Not let yourself get too deep on that corner. You can lose some time. And it looks like it's going to be definitely a 1:21. Will it be quicker? Oh, it is quicker for Pole currently with 5 minutes and a half to go. It's a 1:21.416, so 600 separate Quentin from Ryan Newton. Magnussen Cube clocked in 4/10 behind them at a 1:21.8. Solid lapping for him. And somebody just crossed the line. I believe that was Jordan. Was that Jordan Quad or somebody that moved down? It was actually Cam Bourne P6 in the Alpine. I'm gonna do a little something here real quick, because on my track map I can't see. Beautiful. All right. Bowyer seems to be I think he's going on his in lap actually, or is that an out lap? No, he's definitely run out of gas, so he's going on his in lap. I don't think anybody's on a fast lap currently. There's Repa still on track. He's got a 1:22.0. And just about, yeah, everybody's on their end lap. So 4:25 to go here. Everybody's in the pits. It's all about the very last lap, the track evolution. Definitely counts for a lot here. So most of these drivers are going to try to go as late as possible to gain advantage of the track evolution. I hesitated because I just saw the likes of Jack Fletcher, Division 2 driver, my rival actually. Looks like he just joined the lobby, so we'll probably hop into the Ferrari seat. I don't think he'll be able to do a lap And yeah, we'll have to see on the grid afterwards what his name will look like for sure. And Anand Trivedi is going to be the first driver out. So Anand Trivedi, with just about 3 minutes to go, figures I'm going to go out, have the clear track in front of me. And is he maybe trying to set up a tow with one of his teammates up front? And now there's a Ferrari back on track. I don't know if that is... It doesn't seem like it's Doan. It looks indeed like it is. Well, that's Jack Fletcher, so obviously not seeing the right name. That is something that we are going to fix right away. I was expecting some kind of black magic situation here. But luckily for us, he does not have the same name as any other driver, so I could input it for him. And we have Jack Fletcher on the board. And yeah, he's gain control, so he's got coming in cold with 2 minutes to go in short qualifying. Jack Fletcher hops into Marcel Papp's Ferrari. He's going to try to qualify and do a pretty good job. I believe he qualified third in Division 2 with a 122-ish, early 122s. And so we will see where he's able to bring that car out there. So first driver currently on a fast lap. We'll keep an eye on Anand Trivedi. Oh, looks very slow. So Trivedi is doing a double push lap, or he had figured out he was going to be in way too much traffic, and he's not going. Decided not to go for that push lap. Indeed, hopefully he's got enough fuel to go to spare. Gives a little bit more wear on his tires, so we'll see where that brings him. Well, you know what? Why not go on board with? This is a legend for real. This is Jack Fletcher, an actual driver here in Zero for quite some time. Here we go, his one and only lap. Down turns 3 and 4, down the hill. Jack Fletcher had a great top speed as well. We're going to see where he could push that car. Past the 200 miles an hour, 203 miles an hour down this straight. These obviously sector times are looking green. It's his only lap. I'd be quite scared if we saw purple all of a sudden. I don't think he'll be going quicker than the top two drivers here, who so far, Quentin K and Ryan Newton, have pulled away by 4/10, and Magnus and Cube is in P3, which is quite a shock. We'll see how long that can stand. And so we'll have our final drivers getting across the line now. The qualifying session is done, so it's everything or nothing. Jack Fletcher crosses the line at a 122.5, and that's good for P16, just better than Freddie Rizzo. Duncan McCormick is going to cross in P7 himself. Who's behind him? It is Nathan Doan. Nathan Doan goes P4. Cube doesn't improve, or if he does, it's not very much. Jan went across. Where is Jan? I don't even notice the Haas Breton P13. There he goes. And Ryan Minico and Williams. Look at that, 121.5. Great lap from him. Will Cam Bourne be able to do better? No, he doesn't. And Ryan Newton is on his way to pole with a 121.273. I was in a chat with him, and that was his prediction for his fast time. And I'm wondering if Quentin K has... Yeah, it looks like he has abandoned his lap on his end. Across the line goes Simon Carlson, Freddie Rizal, 7 and 8. Next across the line, Major Castleman P14. We should be seeing Beaulieu next, and that is Beaulieu P4. Maxime Beaulieu, what a lap! 121.78 moves everybody out of the way just at the foot of the podium. What a monster lap. Maxime Beaulieu, that's absolutely his best performance so far in qualifying this season, and he's having a good one so far. The Beaulieu is back, ladies and gents, but it is pole. Ryan Newton, 121.2, and tenths and a half behind it is Quentin K. and Minico. First-time driver out here in ZRL is going third on the second row, right next to Beaulieu in P4. Quite a performance here in qualifying. Continuing down the order, Magnussen Cube in P5, Camborne in P6, Nathan Doan followed by Simon Carlson, Freddie Rizal, Stelios Repas is your top 10. Cal Blevins followed by his longtime Red Bull partner, dropped down to AlphaTauri, Duncan McCamick in P12, Ahmed Abdullahi in P13, team principal for Alfa Romeo is going to be keeping an eye on his new driver, Nick Arrow, with the qualifying banded down in P19, Jordan Kwan P14, Major Castman P15, both Haas, Jan Breton and Antrovetti P16 and 17, and Jack Fletcher trying everything he can to maybe pull some last-second heroics here in Ferrari. Well, he's now in P18, that qualifying lap. That was the best he could do under such difficult circumstances with the absence of Marcel Paps, who's sad to say, but with 2 rounds left after this race, is essentially throwing his chances at a championship. And I don't know if we have any rumors on the paddock or what's going on, or if the chat somebody knows, but we know Marcel Paps. He's definitely got... he either stays awake quite late, or he takes a nap, and I'm wondering if he took a nap before this race, given the time zone difference, and that cost him. We'll see what these drivers pick for their tire strategies. We haven't really talked about tire strategies yet. Really important. A lot of tire strategies, different tire strategies can work. If you want to really stretch it out, we could talk from hard to softs or soft to hards, but the majority of the strategies used yesterday, especially with the safety car midway through the race, was hard to mediums or mediums to hards. Generally speaking, the safer route if you expect safety cars. Nathan Doan, I hope you're listening to this one. This race is brought to you in part by My Beer. This is a lemon sour beer lager here, and the race is about to start. We're going to have 5 lights. And away we go. It's a strong start there for Ryan Newton. Easily gets across corner 1 ahead. Is there anything happening in the back? I don't think so. Everything seems clean so far. During turns 3 and 4, there's Stelios Rapas, I think, who's gone around actually, so I spoke too quickly. Stelios Rapas now in P19. Nicholas Arrow already climbing up the boards, and Nathan Doan battling with Simon Costin. Look at this. Both Mercedes are on soft tires. Ryan Newton and Simon Costin on soft tires. So Ryan Newton, but I believe his objective is to break that gap, and Maxime Beaulieu is not going to wait for anybody. He's on medium tires, he's using his battery, and he is now sitting in P2, having started from P3. Ryan Minico defended his position in P3. However, it's Quentin K who's lost several positions and is now under attack by Magnussen Cube in P5 right behind him. Looks like he's going to be able to defend. So Quentin K with those hard tires, he definitely doesn't have the grip compared to his competition, and he lost out on that. Camborne in P6, followed by Simon Costin, Nathan Doan, Freddie Rizal, Jordan Kwan, Kyle Blevins, Castleman, Arrow, Abdullahi. Arrow already in front of his team principal, P13 now, having started P last. Breton, Trevetti, Fletcher, McCamick, who's got wing damage. Apparently, you don't see it visually on the car, but I could see it on my statistics here. And Repas, who went around, doesn't look like he has any damage. I believe the incident was Duncan McCamick maybe giving a bit of a whack there to Stellar Strapass there on the back of the car. So McCamick, without that DRS assist, it's going to be rough. But the objective here for Ryan Newton was to break toe and try to see if he could keep it as far away as possible using those soft tires. So will the tire degradation allow drivers behind him to catch up to him, or will he be able to keep up a decent pace and not have anybody catch up to him at all? He's already 1.7 seconds off the pace in front of the lead, I should say. And Ryan Beaulieu, well, he's doing everything he can, but look at this. It's Ryan Minico who's thinking maybe of making a move, and oh, it looks very close. Definitely outbraked Beaulieu there. And Minico's still there in P3. Quentin K, and this is going to be the long DRS train. It's going down all the way down to Nanchovetti. I think even Jack Fletcher there. Yeah, it definitely includes Jack Fletcher down to P17. Expect this kind of race, the long DRS, to be the case. A bit of a similar situation as last weekend's Circuit of the Americas race. And look at Ryan Newton, 2.3 seconds ahead of Beaulieu. He's pulling qualifying laps, essentially. And even his teammate Simon Carlson, now in P6, trying to do his best to make those tires work. And we'll see how those work for him as well, as he makes a move, attempts to maybe make a move on the outside there. Goes wide, tries to go around Magnussen Cube. Doesn't look like it's going to happen here. Will he use the slipstream effect, the DRS, and maybe a little bit of battery? And there he goes across, past Magnussen Cube. So the Mercedes are on the move for a lot of positions to be gained, as Minico did to Beaulieu. A little bit of a wiggle there for Simon Carlson coming out of turns, whatever turns those were. I forgot what those was. I think those turned 10. Do I not have my track description? No, I don't. Okay, anyways. Doesn't really matter, does it? And yeah, so Quentin K starting first, finding himself quite far from the leader. Let me switch that to the intervals. There you go. Yeah, finding himself quite far off the pace there from the leader. It's not working out for him so far, but the objective here was to really play the game there, the DRS chicken game, I guess. And the ERS chicken game, obviously. We can keep an eye on the DRS panel here. How often these drivers use their battery? When it's on the orange, it is recharging. When it is green, is because they are using, as is currently Anand Chivetti trying to maybe keep it within the drivers in front of him. Castleman, who's maybe had a little bit of luck on the inside there of Cobb Levins in front of him. He's going to try to get a better look. He's all over the rear of that Red Bull. He's going to be able to make it work. Cal Levins has better top speed so far. And a little bit of a side-by-side action there. Arrow and Rosell. And will Arrow push Rosell a little bit off track? And yes, he does. Rosell is able to keep the car steady. Completely ran out of space there. Side-by-side they were. And Nicholas Arrow already looking at P10. Well within the points now. That is 9 positions gained. Let's look at our positions, our gains and our losses so far. 4 laps into this race. Well, significant gains for Arrow and Kwan, by the way, who's P8. Strong start again from the Aston Martins. Beaulieu's in P2, having started from P4. Not the best start there for Quentin K, but he's hanging on for P4. And with incidents, Stellar Surpass and Duncan McCamick 18 and 19. Yeah, Duncan McCamick is having and pun intended, he's having a stroll in the back there. And Ryan Newton is absolutely losing Beaulieu there with the gap. Still at a 4.3 second interval, lap 5. It's not right away. We should start seeing signs of the soft tires maybe beginning to drop off lightly. I don't think it's going to happen right away. Well, now Simon Carlson, that could be really costly for Quentin K. We'll see what Simon's able to do here. Simon might be in a situation where he wants to make a push to get past Quinton K, as Beaulieu and Minico seems to be trading places regularly on the straights. Well, if that keeps on going on and slowing down Quinton, maybe Simon's going to have an attempt here, maybe getting past that Red Bull, and as a Mercedes teammate, if he gets to slow down the Red Bull a little bit for Ryan, well, that could potentially secure the victory there, because so far, if I'm really looking at the qualifying pace and the race pace so far, well, the only person that could potentially go faster than Ryan is Quinton K. Absolutely strong race, by the way, here for Minico in the Williams, replacing Chad Swindell, who I believe was a pick 4 seat. It was initially supposed to be Kiki Urich, who did some weird stuff as a team principal, I guess, aka becoming a ghost. And then Chad Swindell taking that seat, a controversial seat for sure. Controversial no more, and maybe signs of nice things to come for Williams, especially for this end of the season. Minico currently in P2, like I mentioned earlier, switching positions with Beaulieu regularly, and caught in P4. Is Simon gonna get a look on the inside here on Quinton K? It doesn't look like it so far. There is movement in the back. Trivedi, Blevins, and Major Castman looked like a little bit of a top there, on board with Cal Blevins, battling with Trivedi. A lot of complaints about racecraft in the mid-pack and midfield for real last weekend in Coda. A lot of drivers had complaints towards each other in the paddock, and so we'll see if these drivers are still a little bit salty about past events, or if they're just focused on this race right now. What you could definitely see is look at how these drivers and Major Castman definitely trying to play the mental game on Cal Blevins here, swinging left and right behind him in the gearbox, and yeah, it's definitely a large, very long DRS train, so these drivers have to pick their fights. Jordan Kwan losing a couple positions, by the way. He was P8 not so long ago. He's now down to P11. Look at this beautiful view there of drivers getting past each other, or trying to get past each other on the battery, on the DRS with the slipstream. And Beaulieu back in front in P2 this time. And Minico doing the same again. And driver all the way in the back. Is that Quinton K losing some positions there? Looks like Quinton K had a moment and he came back on track fighting Simon Costin, and now he's completely off track. Doesn't have damage. And either he went for a move and it didn't work, or something happened, and now there's a Sector 3 yellow flag. I don't know if there's a driver that went around. Yes, it is Freddie Rizal. Freddie Rizal, who either got spun or spun himself. And Quinton K... Oh, what's going on with Quinton K now? Is he in the pits? He's got a 5-grid place penalty for getting a position, cutting the corner. I kind of just appeared there, so quite suddenly Quinton K's race just completely dropped off. He's now just sitting in P7. Freddie Rizal has retired. He's in the pits. He had some mixed emotions about beginning this race in the first place. And look at the gap. Max Verstappen style. Ryan Newton. Well, he's just cruising. His tire wear is significantly higher than drivers behind him, but he's making it work as Minico is heading towards his first drop-off with those hard tires, as most drivers are behind him. Beaulieu and Minico doing the usual thing, switching strategies. Quinton was usually P4, falling behind. Let's see if Magnussen Cube is gonna want to get a podium position here. He's not usually so high up. Really good qualifying pace this season, not as much for his race, his racing. He's got an opportunity to be on the podium. This is absolutely great race weekend here in Division 1, ladies and gents. 3 drivers potentially for the podium that we're not used to seeing. Beaulieu, Minico, and Cube. Be great to see how these guys battle it out. And we're only on lap 8, still 21 laps to go. Right behind Cam Bourne. Don't count him out. He's usually starting behind, but he's got such constant race pace, such good race pace too, that it's not rare for him to find himself very close to the podium steps as usual. And we're slowly and surely we're headed towards something that could be happening is the undercuts. Right, so the soft tire runners, the medium tires runners, they'll have their own strategy, but the hard tires, so Minico, Q, Bourne, Doan, Quinn and K as well, we might be seeing these guys considering the undercut and what kind of triggers that's going to happen. And what has happened with Maxime Beaulieu, I'm trying to find him, he's lost several positions and dropped down to 9th. And I don't know if that was from contact or from race error directly, but in the chicanes, he's lost it for sure there. And I'm just getting some laggy moments, so let me adjust a little setting here. I believe this is a culprit. Here we go. Apologies. Yeah, very sad for the Aston Martin, suddenly finding themselves back in a position they're used to seeing, which is 9 and 10. Which is regularly where they've been positioning themselves, usually a little bit higher, but Maxime Beaulieu was fighting for a podium position, suddenly loses it. Will he be looking to go onto the hard tires, maybe a little bit quicker, taking advantage of a potential undercut with those tires? The mediums could last quite long too, though, so keep an eye on what they decide to do there in the Aston Martins. Kind of lets loose Ryan Minico here, with Cube flashing behind, so he's been using a lot of battery, and we're going to see exactly how much battery he has. Well, he has none. So while drivers ahead and drivers behind are finding themselves in opportunities to harvest the battery and go for some overtakes, looks like Cube has been using a lot of it just to keep up with the podium drivers. Suddenly opens the door to Doan and Cam Bourne and the likes behind him. We'll see what he can do about that to defend his podium position there in P3, which will be a tall task. Nathan Doan, who's had great racing lately, kind of carrying the weight there with Marcel Papp's absence. That is twice this season that Nathan Doan has been doing something very similar, certainly P4 currently for the youngster. Quinn has worked himself back up the grid a little bit, having dropped down to P8, is now in P6, and Nicholas Arrow, having started P last. There were rumors in the paddock that he had some strong pace, and we'll see how Dan, the team principal of McLaren, the one who fired this driver for crashing out, feels about this. Arrow is currently sitting P7, lap 11 of 29. In his brand new red Alfa Romeo. That's a lot of positions gained so far. 12 positions gained for him. 3 for Doan, 4 for Quan, 6 for Trivedi, by the way, currently sitting P11 on Trivedi and the Haas. Definite big losses for Repas, Mechanic, and Rizal. And definitely Beaulieu as well, currently sitting in P8. Started the race in P4. Was battling for podium positions for a proper P2. Lost it in the chicane. And is now sitting P8. Battles between Cube and Minico. Well, Cube got past Minico there. And the second DRS part. And lap 12, by the way, 4.3 seconds, while Cube and Minico will definitely have to choose their battles, because every time they fight, they potentially lose out with on their timings to Ryan Nugent. Sorry, I hesitated. Quinn K, I believe, made a move in turn 1. Definitely was not expected a move there, and is now P5. Made a move on Cam Bourne. I don't know if there was a bit of an issue there with Cam Bourne, but he was able to make it work. And in the back, Jordan Quan and the Aston Martin currently sitting P16. Well, he has pitted for the hard tires to finish this race. Back in front, Camborne goes in front of Quentin here. The Red Bull driver is going to have a lot of work to do if he wants to get back in a podium situation. Cube and Minico, who are regularly switching positions now, so Cube's eventually taken the place of Maxime Beaulieu. So Minico, the new Williams driver, absolutely unfazed. Whether the car in front of him is green or white and blue, well, he's fighting for P2, and that's what he's going to do. Lap after lap, they're switching and trying to use that DRS from each other to get back closer to Ryan Newton, which, by the way, they've gained about half a second. So Ryan Newton actually right now is in the pits. And I could tell you the tire wear for that soft is a little bit past 60%. He's going for the mediums. So that should be 16 laps on those mediums all the way until the end. And so will Castleman and Beaulieu make those medium lasts about 16 laps? That's we'll have to see about that. Beaulieu's tire wear is significantly higher, obviously, with all the fighting and the spin he took earlier. Let me see if I could have that up for everybody. Here we go. Just medium tire comparison here. Lap 13. Beaulieu is currently at 45 all around, essentially. Castleman in the back, we're looking at 41, 43. And not even hitting 40 on the fronts. Taking advantage of that good tire wear there in McLaren. However, he's a little bit off the pace still. Not in the DRS of Beaulieu, although he just got up. So he's trying to keep within the DRS of Beaulieu to get back into that train up front. I never thought I'd say this, and I'm sure he's going to clip it, so you better clip this, Magnussen. But Magnussen Cube is in the lead. There you go. I said it. Never thought I'd be saying this. Yeah. In the pits, Quentin K. Beaulieu goes. Castleman as well. So there's a bit of a pit race there. So it's going to be the hards for Beaulieu. Right behind him, Castleman also on the hards. And Quentin K, I would assume, is going to be the mediums. Absolutely, it's the mediums. And we'll see where his pace brings him. Comes back on track behind Stel Repas. P17. He's going to have to do a little bit of work. I don't think he's going to get the DRS right away in front of him. He might have to dump a bit of battery to get the DRS on the second detection zone. But except there's got Stel Repas who is dumping it. Looks like Quentin will be able to... Oh, I'm not quite sure. No, he's not actually gaining enough to get it. So no DRS there for Quentin K. Nothing to help him out in that situation. That might cost him significantly in regards to positions. You want to come out of the... You kind of want to have the opportunity to come out of those pits, especially if you're doing an undercut. With a driver not too far ahead of you, that DRS could really carry you through. You gain significant speed, significant top speed. And Ryan Newton at 124.4, well, he's going to get the fastest lap as we got another bunch of drivers in the pits. We're looking at Nathan Doan, Bourne, Blevins, and even Jack Fletcher's. Fletcher... What am I staring at? It looks like Fletcher went past, but the camera is... there you go. There's Fletcher. Ghost Rider. Going through the pits. Also, so he comes back out 17. Blevins behind his teammate significantly. And looks like there's two groups of drivers now. A lot of stragglers here and there. But there's still quite a battle going on up front. Minico, Cube, and Arrow. And Cube back in the lead there. There's a little bit of a light contact there on the inside as Cube made his way past Minico. Is Minico going to fight this one side by side? No, he doesn't. He lets Cube dive down on the inside. Arrow's trying to pick them off if he can, if there's a situation in front of him. And Nick Arrow currently, well, he's sitting P3. A reminder that with a qualifying ban, he started last. And he's going to take advantage of the situation. We have both Cube and Minico in front into the pits. So Nicholas Arrow is going to take the lead of this race until he decides to pit. Lap 16, drivers in front of him also on hard tires. Going there for the pit. And really curious to see what Nick Arrow's strategy is going to be, because the undercut is very strong. And he's not protected himself from that undercut. And because of all the pit strategies, well, now we have Jan Breton in P2, but that's not going to last for long. Right behind him, Ryan Newton on the medium tires. Well, he's in a world of his own. Significant top speed on the end of Ryan Newton there to get past Breton. Abdullahi P4. And, well, essentially a lot of the drivers who are in front have not... Oh, and Nicholas Arrow, there you go. Definitely a slide, caught him drifting. So not only does he not take advantage of the undercut, he ends up sliding all over in sector 3. Will he now consider going to the pits? Yes, he does. Locking those wheels. 3-second time penalty. Well, that's the pit glitch there. Oh, and there's a safety car as well. And Nick Arrow gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So, safety car for what? Let's keep an eye on... I saw Beaulieu losing out a lot of positions. And from what I'm seeing, Beaulieu doesn't have a front wing. No front wing for Beaulieu. Into the pits he goes. And yeah, the 3-second time penalties and multiple warnings, and there's a bit of a glitch issue there. It happened to Nick Arrow. It just happened to Kyle Blevins. I see their penalties stacking up. When you go into the pits and you hug the inside too much, well, you get multiple warnings, which trigger that 3-second time penalty. Stewards are aware. So an incident there with Beaulieu. Another one I missed out on while I was watching Arrow doing some drifts and... Sector 3. Well, you'd expect a virtual safety car. We had bigger incidents than this last, last race. The Division 2 last night, triggering a virtual safety car. And the situation as it is, Ryan Newton is currently sitting P1. He hasn't joined the safety car as of yet. Definitely Breton, Abdullahi are going to want to pit for the mediums. I would assume they're going to go for the mediums. Maybe they'll be trying to go for 12 laps on the softs. Or I should say 10 laps, given the time the safety car comes back in. So let's take a look. Who has pitted so far? Well, we have everybody who's done their usual tire strategies or have only pit once. Ryan Newton's going to go in. So is he going to go for another set of... Oh, he's going on the hards. So Ryan Newton is going on the hards until the end. He's going for the safer strategy there. So essentially he's going to lose a couple positions. He's going to lose them to Born, Doan, Cube, and he's going to come out P5, I believe. Maybe P6, actually. No, P6. Bratons is still in front. So that is P5 for Ryan Newton. So 4 drivers in front of him. I think the driver who's won out of this situation the most, I think it's Nathan Doan. Camborn, Nathan Doan. Well, they're now sitting P1, P2. Cuban Minico 3 and 4. Obviously, they got a little bit fresher tires. So as you can see on the grid there, the drivers on the 2 stops, they've definitely did their strategy already, and now went for fresher tires again. So could you go down? Could see it there for Quan, Castman, Colston, Quinnen. Well, we're not used to seeing Quinnen K there in P14, so he's going to have to fight quite a lot on his medium tires. Colston, I think he had an extra set of soft tires. He's back on the softs. So P13 on the soft, he climbed them and got quite a number of positions. For a driver who's wanting to do his best to get the most points as possible, I think that is a commendable strategy for him, given his position on track. Arrow P15, Blevins, Beaulieu. Well, it's been a bit of a sad middle of the race for now for Nick Arrow and Maxime Beaulieu. They've worked so hard to get to the top of the grid, and well, currently it's not working for them, and they're now sitting P15, P17 with time penalties. Arrow, I believe, has served his 5-second time penalty during the safety car as well. Went back into the pits a second time. And everybody looks like they are bunched up. Duncan McCamick will be joining back everybody, and I believe he's probably the driver who's the happiest to see a safety car, because he spent basically since lap 1, since the end of lap 1, he spent his entire race alone. Just quite alone on his own, not trying to catch up to everybody, not unable to do so. And Repas looks like he went into the pits for the set of softs as well. Safety car restart is expected at the end of this lap. We're lap 19 of 29. So we're going to have 10 laps of racing once that safety car goes back into the pits. Safety car in this lap. It is going to be Cam Bourne, who will be ready to get this race going once again. Lots of positions gained for the race leader there. 5 positions for him and Doan. Nick Arrow looks like he left the session. I'm wondering what's going on with him. And the Haas, by the way, gaining 2 positions each. Breton and Trivedi, 6 and 7. We haven't seen the Haas so far up on the grid in a bit. Will they be able to keep on going, or will they have to battle for the positions? We'll see where this brings them until the end of the race. Let's get on board. We're going to go on board actually with Nathan Doan, who's had a great reaction time actually to Cam Bourne restarting this race. Not so great of a reaction time for Magnus and Cube. And let's not forget, there will not be DRS for the next 2 laps. Reactivated at the beginning of lap 3. So far, it's a clean restart. Not really any kind of incidents. Doan is going for the lead there, and he has. He's used a significant amount of battery to go for the lead. So another race leader for this race. We've had several. Well, it's Nathan Doan who's leading a race in Division 1. Cam Bourne following closely behind, and Magnus and Cube, who I believe who dumped a little bit of battery to put some pressure there on Cam Bourne. Right behind him, Minico. Once again, those two have been driving besides each other the entire race. Minico and Cube. Clean racing so far. And Ryan Newton, he's the only driver on the hards, while everybody else is on the mediums. So we'll see if Ryan Newton can make those hards. Maybe gain a little bit of extra grip until the end of the race. However, for the next 8 laps here, I think the mediums are going to be working pretty good for him. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, it looks like Nick Arrow has left the session there, so he's Well, it's more of the same, I guess, in his situation, in his case. Abdullahi knew exactly what he was getting into, bringing that driver back on the grid. It seems like it's been that kind of situation for the entirety of the season. However, up front, you've got a huge battle who that is brewing. Doan, look at this. Everybody is following each other quite closely. Doan, Bourne, Cube, Minico, Newton, even the Haas boys are getting some work done. And Quinn and Kay not being able to take advantage as of yet. Actually losing a little bit of track time to Simon Costin, who's himself on the softs, and the overtaking has not a lot of overtakes as of now. Obviously the DRS has not been reactivated yet. It will be when this man crosses the line, who gets a little bit of a wiggle on the rear. And there you go. DRS is enabled once again. 3-second time penalty in the back. Duncan Mechanic. And now Doan, who's dumped the battery a little bit, will have to defend from Cam Bourne. And Madison Cube, who's decided to dump all his battery, completely opens himself up to be quite vulnerable for overtakes. He won't be able to defend himself. We will see where that leads him until the end of the race. Lap 22 of 29 on the inside. Minico is potentially making a move here. Is he going to back out of it? No, he's on the inside there of Magnussen Cube. It's going to be a close one. There's a potential contact. No, Magnussen Cube looks like he's bailed out, but lost a lot of speed, lost a lot of time. And now Ryan Newton is going for P4, and he's also losing a position to Yann Breton. The French Canadian is now in P5, and Magnussen Cube, having burned all his battery without having DRS, doesn't have the tools to defend and loses 3 positions. Jumps down to P6. And Ryan Newton is on the offensive. He wants to get past these 2 drivers to try to separate himself like he did earlier with Quinton, maybe with Cam Bourne. Let's take a quick view here with the battery differences here. As mentioned earlier, Cube doesn't have the tools to defend himself, and Breton, well, he's going to do what he can to follow that group of 4 drivers up ahead. Strong race on his part, certainly. On board still with Ryan Newton. Will he think about making a move here? Looks like Ryan Minico has the top end speed on him for sure. And let's compare what it looks like for Minico to Bourne, and maybe actually Doan. Yeah, there's a sector 2 flag there. It looks like it's Cal Blevins, who's dropped several positions. He's now P17. And on the outside, look at this. All these 4 cars. It's a beautiful view. And actually, Trivedi in the back, almost losing it. All in all, it's Cam Bourne back in P1. Newton in P2 now, with Doan in P3 and Minico P4. Solid racing from this set of drivers. And look at everybody following closely. By the way, Simon Costin getting a couple positions. Currently sitting in P10, making the softs work. Will they survive until the end? Or will they drop off and he'll struggle for track position? We'll see about that in the next 5 laps. And this time it's Cam Bourne. Well, Cam, who's going to have to do everything he can to defend himself once again. And again, will Newton go for the position, or will he be patient? There's Nathan Doan, who out of the blue comes out on the right-hand side. Didn't see that coming from the perspective of Ryan Newton. Got the position, but absolutely has no DRS to protect himself now. And Ryan Newton, it's side by side, definitely battery being used to defend here. Will Ryan Newton come out of the corner on top here? On the outside, he's trying to go full speed. Has to lift the very slightest there, and it looks like it's done. And lucky Cam Bourne on the inside of Nathan Doan, and he's got another move made. Cam Bourne back in P2. Nathan Doan thought about closing the door, and they saw that he didn't have the inside anymore, and that was quite a risk for him. What a race between these 4 drivers. Absolutely crazy. Something's happened in the back. Is that Simon Costin? Yes, it looks like it's Simon Costin. Oh, it's Simon Costin. He's got wing damage. I don't know if he hit somebody. And Quinn and Kate as well is dropping positions. Going into the pits for soft tires. Quinn and Kate has damage. So something happened in front. And just been a bit of that effect there. Where multiple drivers have driven into each other, and I believe Major Castman has retired in the pits. So the usual McLaren shenanigans. What is going on here? Oh no, this is not a glitch. This cannot be a glitch. Wow. Oh my goodness. Well, that's gonna be discussed quite for sure. That absolutely has ruined the race for Quinn and Kay. And I believe the incident involved Magnus and Cube, who's now dropped in P14. Nick Arrow apparently came back. He's sitting P13. That's the end of the race, essentially, for all drivers who went into the pit. So that's Quinn and Simon and Duncan, P15, P16, P17, all because Castman retired in the pits. His AI, for a reason I cannot explain, went right into up to the pit lane exit and stopped right there. So yeah, EA doing EA things, I guess. Meanwhile, Ryan Newton, well, he's got the fresher tires. He's making them work, and he's trying to break that 1 second gap from Cam Bourne. Cam Bourne once again having a very solid race. 3 laps to go. Minico just on the cusp of losing the DRS, but he's still going to have it. Nathan Doan's in P4, and who's in P5? It's Jan Brateau. He's going to try to make a move on the youngster in the Ferrari, and that is move made for the French Canadian. That is P4, and Anand Trivedi's in P6. So far, it's working very well for the Haas's tonight. Labib, I'm certain he is watching over. Labib, being the team principal, is seeing this and is quite ecstatic for that kind of result. Labib having, sadly, a more difficult race in Division 2 last night. Cal Blevins in the back getting past Stelios Repas with Nicholas Arrow really close behind, all over his gearbox. He's trying to get past him. Nick Arrow benefiting from that AI, not doing much on track, so his tire wire wasn't too high either. And Ryan Newton is gapping everybody. He's now 2.3 seconds ahead of Cam Bourne, essentially letting them know you're fighting for P2 and nothing else. So that's what Cam Bourne is going to try to do again. However, with Minico, Breton, and Doan right behind, and actually Anand Trivedi, who's also following them, might also maybe even add in Jordan Quanton in that discussion. And a lot of this is going to be playing on the battery, which most of these drivers have been absolutely using. Nobody has a significant battery advantage for now. And no penalties up front either. Minico getting past Cam Bourne for P2 there. Minico's looking maybe on the outside to get the higher speed around that corner. Again, very close racing for that group of 5 drivers. Led by Minico in P2, Bourne, Breton, Doan, and Trivedi. Looks like Jordan Quan's dropped off the pace a little bit. And we're now lap 28, so 2 laps to go. Lap 28, lap 29. Ryan Newton leading this race. showing an absolute masterclass of his speed, gapping Minico by just under 3 seconds after the safety car restart. Will he make it 5 wins in a row for Mercedes, having won all their races last weekend, Division 2 win yesterday night, and a potential win tonight? But what's really attracting our attention is the fight here for the podium positions, P2, P3, because chances are we might see Minico, we might see Breton even in a podium position, drivers who we've never had in an interview before. Breton, I believe it's his 3rd race with us ever, and Minico, it's actually his 1st race ever as well, so I'd be really excited to speak to one of these drivers. Nathan Doan, who's starting to become more and more used to podiums in Division 1. One of the most improved drivers from last season, in my honest opinion. And Trivedi, who's also driving greatly so far in P6. Final lap, laps 29, and the fireworks are ready to be set off. Literally on track in the game, but also between these drivers, because some drivers are going to make some bold moves for position, and that may be the cause of incidents. We'll keep an eye on that for sure. This is the battle to watch. There's a lot of action happening further back in the field quite similarly, but these drivers are going to give it their all. Will Minico try to make the move happen here? He's staying as close behind as possible, but he's going to lift. He's not going for the move there. There's a bit of a bump from the Haas of Breton in P4. And also wheel to wheel, Nathan Doan and Breton, they go. And Trivedi is going to try to make his way past. And Trivedi does. And they're going to go 3 wide into turn 11 over there. But Minico is going past Cam Bourne without any DRS. And it's Doan and Breton side by side. And on Trivedi going to get on the inside of that. No, he doesn't. But on the inside, it's going to be Breton. He's going to try to head for P4. There's a bit of a contact there. Quite of a close situation. And who's going to be our P4 finisher? This is one of the most exciting moments. Ryan Newton is crossing the line across a bit with a drift for 5 wins in a row for Mercedes, followed by Minico and Cam Bourne. Nathan Doan in P4, and what a race for the Haas duo. Gene Haas, absolutely ecstatic, or should I call Gene Labib. Breton and Trivedi, I don't know where Trivedi just went. We saw the car disappear there. Typical Trivedi internet, where he lags backwards sometimes there. Jordan Kwan in P7, Ahmed Abdullahi, P8 for him. Max Boulier, he's going to be so disappointed in his race. He had a potential podium. He should have been up there. He's sitting P9. It's going to be Ripas in P10. And given the circumstances and the penalty, Jack Fletcher, P11. Great race from him. Magnussen Cube, who's having a moment with his teammate. What's going on there, boys? Why are you guys touching each other? Well, that's going to be P12 for Q. I was going to say, wasted his battery. Is emptied more than just his battery by the looks of things. Weird behavior there for the team principal on track. We usually have a room for those kind of things. And let's keep an eye on the other drivers. It was Cube, it was Blevins. Somewhere in there was Arrow and Quinn and K. I don't know where he ended. It looks like it was P15, Mechanic in P16, and Simon Cost in P17. Bit of a disastrous race for those final 5 drivers, honestly, if you ask me. However, up front, that top 5, what a race. I was expecting more of a DRS train, more of just let's wait and see kind of race as we had in Division 2. But these drivers gave us quite a race, and so we're gonna see our top 3 in the interviews. Stay tuned, everybody. All right, our drivers are getting ready for interviews here. We already have in the waiting room Cam Bohr and Ryan Newton. Let me guess, one of the questions Cam Bohr asks Ryan Newton is, how did he find that much pace on the hard tires? Well, let's bring our P3 finisher on board with us in the broadcast booth, Cam Bohr, and once again, well, welcome. Had quite an exciting race. Talk us about it. Or not? Maybe? Yeah? Cam? No? Oh.
There we are.
Here we are. Yeah, Cam Bohr. Did you get to hear my question?
I didn't, sorry.
All good. I was just asking us to walk us through your race in general. How did you feel about that one, which seemed quite exciting up front?
Yeah, it was exciting. Thought I was going to get the win, to be honest. I don't really understand how Ryan was able to pull away on hards with no battery when I think it was like 25% of my mediums. But I thought I was going to be able to stick with him, so yeah, I think if I was able to stick in his DRS, then I think I could have had it.
Yeah, it was a Max Verstappen-ish kind of pace there for Ryan Newton tonight. You had a lot of battles to get your P3 position, which hardly fought. You were trying to get P2 from Ryan Minico, battling with Maxime Beaulieu early in the race as well. What was your thought process as closer and closer towards the end of the race was coming, and you knew that a guy like Minico would probably have the best opportunity to do the overtake?
Yeah, I could have stayed behind, waited for the last lap, but everyone was so close. I just didn't really want to risk it, so I took it on the second to last lap, just kind of hoping that he would get involved in a battle with whoever was behind him, and then I could take P2. But yeah, it was. I would probably still do the same thing again, to be honest, just to play it safe, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. There's 2 races left in this season, and let me pull up standings real quick. You're looking most probably at P2, a couple, about several points behind. Let me say 20 points behind Ryan Newton there. Do you think is there anything you can do in China or Silverstone to maybe close that gap from Ryan?
No, not to Ryan. I don't think. I think at best P2 in the championship is kind of what I'm gonna go for. But from the season start, well, really since on F123, to be honest, all 3 seasons P3 has been the goal. So that's what I'm after.
Yeah, and possibly, I'd have to see, but possibly this allows you to take P3 constructors in Division 1 from Ferrari, with Marcel Paps being absent. So that would be a great move from Alpine, great improvement from last season there with Alpine so far. So congratulations on your podium, Cam Bohr, and we'll see you again next weekend.
Yeah, thanks, John.
And for the first time ever in a broadcast booth, his first interview with us at Zoom Racing League, Ryan Minico, and hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. If I'm not, please correct me. P2.
You absolutely are. So you're good.
Absolutely. Well, second place for you here in Abu Dhabi, which has a lot of DRS swapping, and you had to fight hard all the way until the end of the race, especially with the safety car restart. Talk us through this race and how that P2 position feels.
Well, I wasn't really expecting much going into this race because obviously first race for me, I didn't know how anything was going to go. I just kind of took things one step at a time, really. When I saw myself qualifying P3, I was like, okay, I can kind of do something from here. And then, yeah, just sticking with most of the people around me. Obviously, Ryan was in a world of his own, but I was just focusing on people behind me and around me and just trying to just not really make any mistakes within that DRS train, and it was working an absolute treat for me. I mean, I wasn't really pushing too hard, but I was pushing just hard enough so then I wouldn't lose track of the person in front and just be able to re-overtake and just go back and forth like that. It was quite insane, and that second safety car had me a little bit, that first safety car, I mean, had me a little bit worried because there were a bunch of guys behind me that were faster.
Yeah.
I was just able to cover them off, and yeah, to take P2 on my debut, I was not anticipating that, but I will gladly take it.
You could tell that was an exciting race, just by that tone of your voice, definitely, and a lot of overtakes, a lot of battling there for that position. And yeah, great racing, great clean racing from my perspective, like from what I could see, Ryan there. So, well, I'm going to say congratulations for that P2, and I wish you a great end of the season. We have China coming out next weekend, and we finish off this season with a full qualifying in Silverstone. Really be curious to see what you can pull off in those next 2 rounds.
Can't wait. I love those tracks. So, yeah, we'll definitely have to see how it goes on. But I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Congratulations again, Ryan Minico, P2. He gets that second start of the podium here. Very cheerful guy, very cheery guy. I'm sure he had a bit of a celebration for that second position in his race debut here at Zoom Racing League. Now let's bring it out again. Once again, Ryan Newton. It's a P1 finish. Your 3rd win this season. Your 5th interview with me this season. You're about here every time, and you got to answer the question everybody's asking themselves. How in the world did you gain that pace from the hards after the safety car restart?
Yeah, so basically, skill issue, rest of the grid. No, I was kidding. But basically, we know Cam. We knew the few guys in front of me on the mediums. They weren't like fresh, and we knew they'd drop off after just a few laps, and especially specifically Cam and I believe it was Nathan, who were a bit older, and so the goal was just to get past those guys, and then when they hit that like drop off, that then I could probably pull away. But it wasn't. I have to say though, it wasn't ideal being on the hards. I thought it was gonna be a bit worse, but yeah, we were able to pull through. Worked out. Put my trust in Cody, and yeah, got that win.
It was a very dominant performance, Ryan. You're dominating Division 1, and this is actually the 5th win in a row for Mercedes that you bring this weekend. Talk to us about the general mood in Mercedes right now. 5 wins in a row, Division 3 tomorrow. Maybe a 2nd win in a row for Avira, who's had a series of bad luck. It looks like that's turning around for him too. What's going on in Mercedes that suddenly we're winning because I'm in Mercedes, but what's going on in Mercedes now?
I think we're just kind of starting to figure out some things especially within the dynamic within the team. I think we're finally clicking together some setups that really work for the drivers, and we're figuring out how to drive the power tracks. And yeah, I think some of the races have maybe gone our way a bit, maybe not getting unlucky with safety car timing and stuff, or making sure we're on the proper strats. But I mean, yeah, I don't think that much has changed, but I think it's just finally clicked into place.
Yeah, well, definitely agree with what you've said. Things are just clicking, and with the championships on the line for many of us, I think as drivers, there's pressure to practice more. We're pushing each other to get better and better, and I think that's one of the reasons why things are working out so much at this moment. 2 races left this season, Ryan. I've asked you this question before, but definitely something, a race you're ready for sure there in China and Silverstone.
Yep.
I mean, a win in China, is that basically where you're hoping to bring it? Get your 3 wins in a row this season?
Yeah, it's the plan. The plan's to win by 20 seconds or whatever. I mean, I probably could have done that today. I think it was 14-ish seconds lead if the safety car, when I...
Right. If the safety car didn't happen, you were doing Max Verstappen and overlapping everybody. Okay, yeah. Makes sense. So we'll see that in China if there's no safety cars, basically.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. Good job. All right, well, thank you again for another P1 interview, Ryan Newton. And we'll see you next week.
Yep, we'll see you tomorrow when Avira wins.
For sure. Great, great moment again. Well, quite an interesting race there in Abu Dhabi tonight in Division 1. For sure, drivers are ecstatic, very happy with their positions, and I'm sure the Haas drivers are very happy as well. Labib mentioning that they were cooking, so he was quite happy with their situation there. And well, that's the end of this broadcast here in Division 1. Tomorrow, tune in at 8 p.m. Eastern with Big Mama Frank. It's gonna be Division 3 at Abu Dhabi, and Frank is gonna walk us through that one. And if you haven't done it already, just like and subscribe, hit that button, whichever button it is. What does it look like? I don't know. Hit that button, whatever button it is, just hit it. Hit all the buttons, do it all, and we'll see you in Division 1 next week in China. Good night, everyone.